I would like to introduce my wonderful co-host, director, actor, stand-up comedian, and former editor at the Gazette of the Go, Warren Epstein.
Thank you. Some of you may have heard this story, and although I've been working on a new one, and as soon I'll have something fresh for you, Sharon has asked me to reprise this encore thing, you know, like they do in Prairie Home Companion, an encore performance, not really bothering to call it a rerun. And I feel really good about it because Doug was just telling me that, yeah, I've heard it once on the radio, and yeah, I heard you do that one about Christmas. Like, oh, great, okay. So that's it. That's all I got. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. When you grow up as a kid believing in Santa Claus, which I did, and you're Jewish, it's problematic. Because you got to figure that, you know, Santa Claus is anti-Semitic. I mean, how else can you possibly justify an entire race of people getting on the naughty list? I mean, how does that happen? You know, Glenn Blackman next door, Santa stops there every year. Our place? No tracks in the snow. No reindeers on the roof. What is going on here? And, you know, I have friends who like, well, you have Hanukkah. You have the magical festival of lights. 8 days of presents. Yeah. We got any Jews out there? Yeah. What you get on Hanukkah when you're a kid?
Little things.
Yeah.
I had to split my gifts with 2 other sisters.
And what kind of gifts were they?
Well, they were board games.
Little board games that you have to share with you. But that was pretty good. You were lucky. What else? What else out there?
Socks.
Socks. You know, and gelt. That was the big thing, which is that, you know, chocolate coins. My grandfather would give me pennies that I was, and my mom would elbow me, be grateful. It's pennies. And meanwhile, next door, Glenn Blackman is pulling down train sets and Rock'em Sock'em robots. And hey, Warren, Santa came. You want to see what he... Again. Okay. So finally, I cornered my mom about it, and I said, well, Mom, what's the deal? How come Santa comes to Blackman's house and doesn't come to our house? And she said, well, that's because they're Christian. And we're not. We're Jewish. I said, what does that mean, that they're Christian? Well, Christians, they wear kind of like powder blue leisure suits a lot. And they go on TV and they beg for money and they believe in Jesus and we don't. And I said, why don't we believe in Jesus? She goes, "Oi, Larry, can you believe this? He wants to know why we don't believe in Jesus." Okay. Look, Jesus was a nice Jewish boy who told everybody to love each other, which is nice. But then they make this big Megillah out of it, and next thing you know, you got the Crusades and the Inquisitions and the killings. And I said, wait a minute. So Jesus was Jewish? And she said, yeah. So did Santa come to Jesus' house? No, Santa wasn't even born yet. I'm very, very confused at this point, understandably. So I go to the closest thing I have as a spiritual advisor, Yussel, my Hebrew school teacher, and I ask him about this. Warren, you want to know why Santa doesn't come to you. Warren, do you know what it means to be Jewish, what it really means? I said, yes, we say prayers in Hebrew. We have an inexplicable love for Chinese food. And we don't eat bacon. And he says, no, what it really means to be Jewish. You mean... No, not down there, no. Well, maybe a little. But, Warren, what it really means to be Jewish is that we believe that everything we do, every moment in life is sacred. Everything is a blessing from God, this life that we have. You want to talk about presents? The greatest present are these moments where we remember that. Here, pray with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech. Great. Blessings from God. Terrific. But would it kill him to throw in a Hot Wheels set once in a while? Something. You know, I was ready to give up on the whole Christmas thing, and then I got the news. Santa was coming to town. Our town, Monticello, New York. He was coming on Tuesday. And I was at that age where, you know, I wasn't sure if this was a real deal, but he came by helicopter. I mean, they're not going to stuff some guy in a Santa suit just to fool a bunch of kids. I mean, that's conspiracy talk, right? So I get out there, and they've cleared this parking lot behind the courtroom, the courthouse. And there's this whoosh as he comes in. And the hats are blowing everywhere and scarves everywhere. And they're setting up this chair for him, which was like a brown lazy boy, which seemed wrong on some level. And he gets out, and I see that it's really Santa. I mean, it's not like a fake beard, or, you know, he's not some mall ho-ho-ho Santa. This guy, he gets out of this helicopter, he's laughing, and it's this deep laugh. It starts deep in his belly, and it just takes over his whole body, and I can't wait to see him. And so the kids are lining up, and I'm about 15 kids deep, and I'm getting more and more nervous as I get closer and closer to him. I mean, this is the guy. This is Santa. And I'm looking up to him, but I'm also, I'm kind of pissed too. You know, he's been giving all these gifts to everybody else all the time, and he hasn't come to me, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm going to ask for, but finally, when I get up there, I look up. He was way up there, and I just said, Santa, I'm a Christian. And he gave me this look, this kind of confused. It was clear he didn't know what to do with this information. And as I'm looking at him, I don't know how I know this, but I know that he's not the real Santa. And I have just betrayed my whole family. And Yussel. So I go home crying, and I think I'm done with this whole Christmas business. Until years later, I marry this nice Catholic girl, and it all starts over again. And I'll never forget one of the first Christmases of our oldest son, Eli. He was probably 3, just about old enough to sort of get an idea and understand what was going on. And I remember he woke us at dawn. I mean, it was just barely light on the horizon, and he's dragging us out of bed. Mom, Dad, he came, Santa came, he came. And he's showing us the footprints of ashes across the carpet, and the crumbs that he left in the cookies that we left out the night before. And he starts tearing into his presents with this sense of joy and wonder. And I'm looking at him, and I thought of Yussel. I thought,